When I think of movies that I don't know why they exist, one of the first that come to my mind is Agent 47. I feel like it's pretty much accepted now that video game movies are a poisoned fucking well. They either never come out or they're absolutely fucking awful and they make you no money. And they just become embarrassing smudges on actors' filmography. I bet The Rock wouldn't mind having Doom removed from his.
Semper Fi! Motherfucker.
But considering how he keeps starring in these movies that are clearly beneath his talent, so he can play a sweaty man in a beige button-down, I guess he probably wouldn't mind actually. The more I think about it, I just go, but why Hitman of all games? There's tons of more things that were way popular at the time that could have easily made you a shit ton of money if you wanted to fucking make a video game movie. The Last of Us was already out for 2 years at this point. That seems like the most easiest Oscar bait thing they could have possibly made. But I guess the road already existed, so they didn't want to do that. Hitman is also a pretty niche series. All things considered, the game that got the most publicity, Hitman Absolution, was bad.
Remember me.
Its review scores from gaming websites wasn't that good either. And these are the same people that think David Cage is a good writer.
Wait a minute! Leave her alone! Leave her alone! Ah! Alice!
Thanks, Hank. It's me, Hank. I'm the real Connor.
One of you is my partner.
I am Buzz Lightyear, and I'm in charge of
other's
this
a sack of
detective.
shit.
No, I'm Buzz Lightyear. I am Buzz Lightyear. I'm Buzz
Question
Lightyear.
They also didn't really get 47's look even that right. 47 has no hair. Like as in has no hair follicles. Yet you can see that this guy just keeps his head shaved. He's got like a 5 o'clock shadow on his head. His barcode looks like fucking shit. Did they use one of those water applied tattoos you get at Blockbuster from the vending machines? The actor's head isn't even the right shape of 47's. You can't even get his look right for the movie? When you think of 47, there's two things. The black suit with the red tie and his bald fucking head. 47's head is very cylindrical, yet this guy's head looks like a fucking melon. I know what you're thinking. That sounds incredibly nitpicky, and you're probably doing one of three things right now. You either rolled your eyes and closed the video, or in the process of typing me a very angry comment, or you're complaining about how videos like these are ruining film criticism on Twitter. And I would absolutely agree with you if 47 wasn't modeled after his voice actor Dave Bateson. Why not just get him to play 47 in the movies? Hell, they got this shit right in the movie from 2007, and that movie's so forgettable I can't tell you a single thing about it. Even with all the previous complaining aside, how the fuck are you gonna translate a slow-paced stealth game where you can wait up to 10 minutes to try to find the perfect opening to kill a target without having the average moviegoer be bored to tears? Oh, I guess they're just gonna do the Hitman Absolution route.
Oh my fucking god!
Remember me.
At least the actor for 47 seems to be in on the whole thing, that this is a massive pile of shit and is just having as much fun with it as possible, and good on him for doing that.
After I'd seen the film of Super Mario Brothers, I knew that it was on my bucket list to do an adaptation of a video game, and that one had been taken. Sonic the Hedgehog, I think the role is still open, I don't know.
So before I actually watch the movie, I'm gonna make some predictions. I've only seen the first two trailers. Prediction number 1. I think they blew their load in the trailers and there's gonna be no more action other than what is shown here. Prediction number 2. The whole movie's gonna have this terrible dubstep soundtrack like it's had in the trailers, except for maybe one scene at the end where they play Ave Maria, or one of Jesper Kid's tracks from Hitman Blood Money to appease the actual fans of the series. Prediction number 3. Based on the trailers, it looks like the female character is basically an aged up version of Victoria from Absolution, which they probably aged up so they could have her be a romantic interest to 47. This looks like it's probably going to steal a lot of story beats from Absolution, much to my chagrin.
I hate myself. Oh, I hate myself. I hate myself. Oh, I hate myself.
This, I think, is the first movie that I've actually looked at my phone during action sequences. I guess it really did live up to the 9% Rotten Tomatoes score. This is just bafflingly bad. Before watching the movie and deciding I wanted to make a video on this, I worried that maybe I wouldn't have enough to talk about. I'm glad I was proven wrong. The movie is only 96 minutes long, but it feels like 5 fucking hours. This movie achieves cramming so much shit in this movie, yet yet nothing happens. I was actually proven wrong with my first prediction, where I thought there was going to be no new action scenes that weren't in the trailer. Not only were there more, the ones they showed weren't in the movie. They redid them, like the jet scene, where the main girl is tied up in front of a jet engine and she has to untie herself to get out. In the movie, she's actually tied to a chair and she does some acrobatic shit. I was also wrong for prediction number 2. They didn't even have the dubstep from what I remember. They reused the same track over and over, this and then just remixed it in different keys. This scene is really tense and fast paced. Let's speed this up. Bang, 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 bang. I was somewhat right and wrong with prediction number 3. A lot of plot points around her are similar to Victoria, but she does have enough of her own story that she's a completely different character, but she's equally as uninteresting. At the start of the video, I said I don't understand why this movie exists, and now after watching it, I completely understand. This movie takes place in Germany through the whole film. Now that might mean nothing to a lot of people, so let me explain. Uwe Boll is a film director who is well known for making shitty video game based movies like this. He happens also to be German, and the only way he's able to get these movies made is because he would use a tax loophole and make a tax shelter, because he films in Germany, so he will get rich investors to invest money in his movies that are going to flop, and they use that as a tax write-off. Germany has a tax incentive that makes filmmakers want to try to film on location in Germany. Georgia also has a similar tax credit system. One of the most notable shows to use this is The Walking Dead. That's why you'll notice in a lot of credits for films, if you actually sit through at the end, they'll show the Georgia Peach logo. That's because it was filmed on location there. But using films for your shady tax bullshit isn't exactly anything new. This shit has been going on since the start of the industry. Like how film studios dump all their shitty movies in January and February just right before tax season starts and ends. You have great hits to release in January like the Underworld films, Resident Evil films, Monster Trucks, a movie literally written by a 4-year-old, shitty horror movies like The Bye-Bye Man, Melissa McCarthy comedies, M. Night Shyamalan movies, anything with Liam Neeson after Taken films. The list could literally go on forever. But let's just say that they're not doing this for any shady tax avoiding reasons. Sometimes you just throw out movies they don't think are going to make any money. There's a whole formula already written out for this. These movies are usually made incredibly cheap. They're either shitty comedies or shitty action films. Taken is an excellent example. They made this movie with a shoestring budget. They shot in Europe. Sound familiar? And then it made a fuck ton of money, and they've been trying to replicate it ever since by making more Taken films than they made the same movie 3 times, each with Liam Neeson on a different mode of transportation. Liam Neeson has to find a killer in a plane. Liam Neeson has to find a killer in a train. Liam Neeson has to find a killer in a hotel. Also, he forgot who he was because he was in a car accident. Making a movie is fucking expensive, so of course they're gonna try to do everything that they can to make their money back. It just so happens that a lot of rich people in locations like Germany happen to invest in movies they will know will bomb so they can get a tax write-off. If you want to read more on this tax loophole shit, there's a bunch of links in the description below that'll lead you to more articles and documents you could read about it, because it's honestly boring as shit and I don't want to spend any more time talking about it. But maybe I'm being too cynical. Maybe this is a passion project. I mean, hell, they got the writer from the first movie back, Skip Woods, and he's made such hit films like X-Men, Origins, Wolverine. And apparently the Kane and Lynch film with Bruce Willis and Jamie Foxx. The only good thing to ever come out of the Kane and Lynch franchise was the fact that Jeff Gerstmann got fired from GameSpot, so he'd go on to form Giant Bomb. They definitely didn't hire Skip Woods because he's a hack screenwriter and probably works incredibly cheap. The movie pretty much starts out like any generic action film, giving you a 5-minute info dump. This genius scientist managed to make the perfect killing machines, and now has gone missing, so the governments need to find him. These perfect soldiers are called agents, and they're pretty much used as contract killers around the world. It pans through this headquarters of the people who are tracking down the professor, and the man in charge is escorted out because apparently there was some sort of breach or some shit. While they're escorting them to the safe house, they trip all of 47's magic gadget bullshit that he has set up throughout the town, like his automatic sniper that's just gonna easily, perfectly precise aim onto the driver's head. It's a shame he never uses any of this ever again, but I guess that would take planning and forethought, which doesn't happen at all in this movie, or probably in the production of it. Once they get into the safe house, they realize all the guards there have already been killed, and 47 is waiting there for the man in charge. They then have some really cringy dialogue.
You need me.
No, I only need pieces of you. The information I require is in 2 places.
As the guy in charge reaches for the gun cabinet, he realizes, oh, there's a bomb there, and blows up. Then 47 has an action scene which feels identical to the one from John Wick, which now that I think about it, John Wick came out the year prior to this and was a huge success. So that makes me think maybe they were also thinking they could probably make a shit ton of money off the hype from John Wick by having a movie similarly like it. But unlike John Wick, which action scenes are well thought out, well choreographed, and the camera's placed far enough back so you can see what's actually going on without having a million jump cuts, Agent 47's is a fucking mess. They do literally everything you possibly could with an action scene wrong. The camera is too close. They use an odd lens so all the fights are super blurry. Unless this is CG, then that's even worse. A million jump cuts. Incredibly bad shaky cam. Just because you shake the camera doesn't mean there's more emphasis and force in people's attacks. They last way too long, and they're nonsensical. Then they cut to our female protagonist, and I think this is an attempt to make us think she's incredibly smart or endearing, but it just comes off like she's an awkward weirdo bitch.
It's 90,467,062.2% Slavic origin, 49.2% male, 1.2% between the ages of 49 to 50. That's 71,291. That's something, isn't it?
There's nothing I can do to help you, miss.
They then introduce that she has some sort of omnipotent spider sense bullshit ability that I think is supposed to be like the instinct system from Absolution, but it's so inconsistent I can't really tell. And that brings me to another issue with this movie, is that no character is consistent in this. Things just happen when they conveniently need to happen. At points, she can use her ability to see a pill bottle in someone's purse, or can sense 47 was about to be in front of her apartment, even though she didn't know he was after her yet, or her life was in any sort of danger. Yet she can't tell who's coming up to her, so she grabs a rusty piece of metal to use as a knife? Okay, so I'm in the process of editing this video, and I'm scrolling through the footage, and these are shots from later in the movie. So I guess that means her ability allows her to see the future? Or they're just reusing clips to save money? I'm not really sure. The more you get into this and think about it, the less sense it makes. 47 at points can shoot people from hundreds of feet away in the head with a pistol, but then suddenly can't hit anybody when it's convenient for the plot. He caused a huge panic in the metro system by just firing his gun at people, but then as soon as he leaves the boundaries of the metro, he decides, maybe I should put my silencer on my gun. It wasn't important enough when you were surrounded by a million fucking people in a subway? Through the whole movie, he never acts like an actual assassin, let alone Agent 47. For the first half of the movie, he's basically a Terminator, which the first half of the movie might as well be just a carbon copy of Terminator 1. Our main heroine is leading her normal life until she's attacked by either 47 or the Terminator in a public place, where then they are saved and intercepted by Kyle Reese and Zachary Quinto's character. The male lead fights the pursuer and momentarily stuns them, allowing them to escape to a car, getting caught by the police. Police interrogation scene. Pursuer breaks into police station. Male lead knocks out policeman to get key to uncuff himself. Main duo escapes by the skin of their teeth, hides out in hotel. Pursuer attacks duo at the hotel. 47's goal through all this doesn't even make any fucking sense in these scenes. At the start in the subway, he's clearly trying to kill her, and then he has the perfect opportunity as they're being arrested by the police. Apparently now he wants to be discreet, but not discreet enough where he'd sneak in as a guard. He has to get caught through the metal detectors and by security showing off all of his guns. If this was Blood Money or any of the earlier games, or Hitman 2016, the mission would have absolutely been to sneak in somehow, not just get yourself caught, and then get interrogated where you just spill the beans about who you are and what you're here to do. My name is Agent 47. I'm an assassin. I'm here to kill the girl you also happen to have in lockup. It's a good thing that for some reason you brought me my gun into the interrogation room. You then also loaded said gun in front of me, and I kicked the table and the gun went off for no reason, which in turn freed me and allowed me to escape. Fast forwarding back to the hotel, 47 breaks in, shoots Zachary Quinto and kills him, and then abducts the girl. She wakes up tied to a chair in a dark room. And he goes, I'm not gonna kill you. I chose not to. So if you weren't going to kill her, then why did you shoot in the middle of the fucking train station? Why didn't you just wait till she was alone and abduct her? Because until this point, it clearly looked like you were trying to fucking kill her. He then tells her to untie herself, and it's revealed that she's actually in front of a jet engine. Apparently, the jet engine's strong enough to make the chair slightly move back, even though it's on full power. Okay, maybe she weighed it down enough. That's still bullshit, but whatever. But then she does acrobatic shit where only her hands are on the chair, so clearly there's not enough weight to hold it down. She should be sucked in. The movie's fucking stupid. After she gets out, 47 reveals that she's also an agent. She's number 90. And then they're attacked by a private military group who look like they're wearing airsoft gear. And with the main girl's spider sense, they could easily sneak away. And she's like, are we gonna sneak away? 47 for some reason goes, nah, we're just gonna kill them. Yeah, assassins for this secret global organization that are contract killers. Why the fuck would we ever sneak around people and be invisible like ghosts? Let's just fucking murder who we please. Around this point is where 47's actor stops trying to do any sort of accent whatsoever and just talks in what seems to be his normal speaking voice.
They're not gonna shoot you. Titanium body armor. It's injected into the skin in liquid form. It's flexible, extremely strong.
47 fights the guards and they embarrassingly make the Wilhelm scream as he throws them into a wood chipper. He then turns the jet engine to maximum overdrive and nobody seems to notice and or hear it even when they're standing right in front of it. And the only thing that's separating them is one sheet of glass that easily breaks from a single bullet. Zachary Quinto shows back up and he's like, surprise, bitch. I'm actually like Wolverine and I have metal skin. So that knife you just stabbed into me broke. Apparently he's always had this ability and he just let 47 kick his ass in the train station, or he got it off screen in between then. I don't really know and don't really care. The fight between 47 and Zachary Quinto is super awkward and stiff. It's like these two actors have never thrown a fist before. That or their clothes are incredibly restrictive and not allowing them to get free movement at all for fighting. Either way, it looks terrible. Why the fuck is Zachary Quinto even in this fucking film? After Zachary Quinto beats the shit out of 47, he goes, tell me I'm better than you. Admit it. Then Agent 90 goes, no, you're not, and shoots the window next to him, which just happens to be where the jet engine is, and all the guards get sucked in, and somehow Zachary Quinto gets knocked out in the scuffle, and her and 47 run away. Skipping 15 minutes of boring nothing in the hotel, they finally meet up with her father. Of course, they immediately get attacked because everybody that was around them in the tower happened to be working for the agency trying to kill them. And by the agency, I mean the bad one, not the one that 47's working for, which also happens to be bad or morally gray or ambiguous. They escape into an Audi for some sick product placement and then have probably one of the most embarrassing action sequences I've ever seen in my life. Genius scientist man gets shot in the leg and they're forced to leave him behind, so he's captured by Zachary Quinto and taken to the Syndicate's HQ. 47 knocks out Agent 90, ties her up into a helicopter, and then forces it to fly into the building where scientist man is being kept. While she's flying into the building, it keeps cutting back to her face, super close up, making a super serious face while she's shaking because the helicopter is crashing into the fucking building. She looks like she's about to have a seizure. Again, just more odd visual choices to cut between. 47 and Zachary Quinto have their final confrontation where they battle it out in the CEO's room. 47 gets his ass embarrassingly kicked pretty much for the whole fight until Zachary Quinto punches a hole in the wall. 47 then sees an electrical wire, wraps his garrote around him, and then stabs him into it. So he's electrocuted and the whole building's power goes out. And because he has the metal skin, I guess he gets electrocuted harder? Maybe? I don't know. And then they just leave him alone and run away. At this point, I was so bored that I was just checking my phone, but they just run through the whole building and shoot a bunch of guards. It's really uninteresting and shot super flat. They finally make it to the roof of the building where Scientist Man is being loaded into a helicopter. 47 and Agent 90 are now fighting off all these guards in identical gray suits, where I'm convinced that they're the same actor just over and over again being thrown at them. The Igor of the Syndicate leader then reaches for his gun as he's on the ground, and for some reason 47 decides, let me just run in front of her and take this bullet instead of just shooting him, because his gun gun is loaded, which he then does after he takes the bullet, and it doesn't matter at all. He just walks it off completely fine. Why did he take the bullet in the first place? It makes no fucking sense. The helicopter manages to get away, and it starts looking like they're setting it up for a sequel, but then Scientist Man goes, actually, my inhaler is a grenade, and pushes it down. The helicopter explodes. Agent 90 then goes, I'm going to kill you, 47. Then 47 and 90 have some dialogue that I really wasn't paying attention to at this point. And 47 calls in the agency going, target eliminated. They ask him about, did you get the second target? And then he hangs up, alluding to, oh my god, she was the second target the whole time. But he doesn't kill her because he cares about her. And as they're going to leave, in the elevator is Agent 48, who's there to kill 47 because Diana didn't trust him. And he looks way more like the actual character he's supposed to be based on than Agent 47. He's actually completely bald, and it looks kind of like they reshaped his head. It might just be because of the lighting from the elevator in the distance, so I could be completely wrong, but it looks like they reshaped his head to look more in line with 47. I don't understand why they didn't have 47 look like this through the whole movie. This should have been 47, and this should have been 48. 47 is supposed to be the perfect clone and perfect killing machine, so wouldn't it make sense that later iterations aren't as perfect as him? They both pull up their guns and shoot him, and the fucking credits roll for 2 seconds, and then they have an after credit scene where Zachary Quinto opens his eyes, and he kind of looks like Rutger Hauer from Blade Runner. This movie is fucking awful. Never watch it. Don't give it any money at all. It is terrible and embarrassing for everybody who was in it. I can't believe I sat through this. I want to thank my friends who sat through it with me because I could not have done it alone. It's clearly setting up a sequel, and they managed to make their money back thanks to France, you fuckers. And seeing how the Death Note Netflix movie just got sequel announced, who knows, maybe in 2 years we'll see something from this.